shout out to Coach T, man, on this extension. But I really wanted to get this conversation flowing with you and with the people in the chat because that's the one part when I get to post a video like that, it's just my quick reaction. But we sometimes it's
Sure.
nuanced. We want to go back and forth, and I love being able to hear what you guys are feeling as well and what y'all are thinking. So make sure y'all tell me in the comment section what y'all feel about Coach Tomlin's extension. Do you like it? Do you love it? Or do you hate it? I mean, whatever you feel about it, just put it in here so we can talk about it as well. But when I think on it some more, I get excited for you.
Oh yeah,
I
same.
get excited for you, man.
Same.
Because I see something that's aligning here. Now, when I said this the other day, people thought I was crazy.
What, did you see my tweet? Is that what you saw?
I didn't. No,
Okay.
I didn't. I just had your energy though. It was big Deke energy that day. Okay. So as I'm sitting here, I'm just like, all right. 1 year, but it's avoidable years after that. Okay. Salary cap's supposed to go up. All right. Huh. I said, Coach T until 2024. Okay. I said, yeah. And I said, the one person that I haven't heard say anything about retirement is Seven. I said, they haven't said that they're ready to move on from Seven. They haven't done anything to indicate that at all this offseason, not even a glimpse of it. I said, Seven gonna be back. I said, Seven gonna be back for another year, at least another year. The way that I feel like it's gonna set up is literally Seven plays this year, he'll come back next year. Depending on how that goes, I think the last 2 years are gonna be Coach T's years to find a quarterback and show what he can do without Seven being on the roster. But I do think that Seven was going to be back next year because of the length of this extension. I'm just throwing it out there, man.
I thought you were gonna say 4 more years. They were both aligned.
I mean, they
because
could,
that was my tweet. It was with Ben and Tomlin.
Oh,
I said 4 more years. Well, I've been calling for 4 more
Yeah.
years. You know, probably the last couple months. That's been my slogan on Twitter. I just tweet out a picture of Big Ben, 4 more years. The one time he held up a 5, I was like, you know what, edit that 5 more years. So yeah, whenever I saw the years where it's like, okay, this year, and then it's a 3-year extension after that, that's 4 years. So that got me thinking too. I mean, you were talking about how you think Ben's going to be back the following year as well, even before this contract extension. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, Ben, 2 more years. If he's still playing good, why not? I mean, him and Tomlin are kind of connected.
And that was why I said at the 2-year mark, reevaluate, because it's like, all right, we know he's going to be here this year, and I definitely think he comes back next year. But the reason why I say I wasn't ready to put the final 2 on, because a lot can happen doing that, whether his play is increasing, decreasing, injuries, all that kind of plays in. But I just feel like for certain, after seeing that extension, because think about this, the past couple of years, Coach Tomlin has only been getting 1-year extensions. That became like the big deal of, man, he's really having to sing for his supper, so to speak, and have to prove on a year in and year out basis that he's good enough to coach for the Steelers. So to see him get the 3-year extension was kind of like, whoa, y'all really like are believing in this and really buying into that. But the thing that I wanted to know also was, because some people view it as him being rewarded based on what happened these past 2 years. And the question became, well, do you think he's earned that? The 8-8 year with Mason and Duck, you can make a case for it. But then they were saying last year, based on how it started, and then compared to how it drastically just kind of fell off at the end, does he warrant a 3-year contract extension? Was that good enough? Because the message it kind of sends is, yes, this is good enough, even though he hasn't had a playoff win since 2016. But that's why I wanted to hear from you. Kind of like, what are you thinking on that? Do you view it as him being rewarded for this contract? Or is it more just business and it just makes more sense that way?
Yeah, I just view him as one of the best coaches in the league, and it just makes sense. I mean, you could go through all the stats of his success throughout his Steelers career, you know, not having a losing season. And I would point to that 8-8 season in 2019 as a positive.
It was very impressive.
Yeah,
it was very impressive.
I would. It was definitely concerning with how it finished, but honestly, I don't put that all on Tomlin. Just like I wouldn't put the end of last year, how it finished up, all on Tomlin either. There were a lot of drops. There's a lot of janky stuff going on.
Yeah, injuries as well from the defensive standpoint.
Injuries too. And you could talk about all that stuff even too back in like the mid-2010s about some of our playoff failures. Like, I think we got really unlucky. Now, there are some valid criticisms where you could say, man, we could have done better in the Jaguars game. I think we also could have done better from a total standpoint against the Browns in the wild card game, obviously. But the Pouncey snap over Ben's head is not Tomlin's fault. Some of the mistakes that happened throughout the game, those aren't Tomlin's fault.
I agree.
So yeah, I just think he's one of the best head coaches. I think it's a good move. So there's 2 scenarios that play out. It's either we have Ben come back for these next 2 years, and you know, if Ben wants to hang it up, retire, Then we have Tomlin for those next two for that predecessor, which makes complete sense. You want to have one of the best NFL head coaches out there coaching your team whenever you bring in a new guy. And then if not, Steelers are just rolling with Tomlin as their coach. Big Ben's those 4 years too. They're kind of tied at the hip. I'm good with that too. So it just makes complete sense to me.
Yeah, because another thing, like even just going back to some of those playoff losses during the Killer B era, because that is always brought up, right? When we talk about, well, when was the the team the most talented? And some people say during the Killer B era. Some people say how it is currently, probably a year ago, right? But in all of those scenarios where the playoffs have fallen short, you think about in 2014, you lose your running back, L. Bell, the week before in the Bengals Sunday night game, you lose him, and then from there you're starting a free agent running back that you just signed in terms
Which
of
one are you talking about, the Ravens game?
Yeah, Ravens wildcard game,
Definitely.
right? And we obviously you lost that year, right? Then you think, okay, in 2015, you go on the road, you beat Cincinnati, but now you go to Denver.
No AB.
No AB, no L. Bell, right?
No D'Angelo
as well. So you're
Ben
down
on a bum arm, which he still torched it up, but still.
But you can just see, and then it's like, all right, well, at least that year you lost to the eventual Super Bowl champs.
Similar thing could be,
but you should have won. Same thing could be said in 2016, right? You have the playoff run, but then L. Bell is hurt going into the New England game, right?
And we have Colby Hamilton and Sammy Coates as our receiver 2 and 3. Like, come on.
Like, so you can see once again, like every year, and then obviously 2017, we said Shazier going down, but if that's the one that really sticks out the most, I do think so, because it's like, man, we were the favorite in that. It was a team that we
the Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, that was the one that's pretty much
that sticks out the most. Absolutely. Even though you look at that team and they were a botched call by a referee away from being in the Super Bowl as well. So even with all that being said, when you think about what Coach Tom has been able to do from a regular season standpoint and some of this postseason stuff earlier on in his career, I just think that you want a guy like that leading the team. And he's 49 years old.
Yeah.
He still could coach for another 15
He looks good,
years
man.
If you wanted to,
he looks like he's 35 still. 35,
40.
40, honestly. I see him in some of these interviews, and then I heard his age at 49. I'm like, what?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely, right?
And another thing, too, is going back to 2018, maybe this is something that someone would bring up as a knock against Tomlin, how we missed the playoffs, we went 9-6-1. You know my argument for that is like, Boz missed all those field goals. We got those shitty calls in the Saints game.
Boz was hurt and was still playing through it.
Yeah, and then Juju fumbled at the end of that Saints game. So, like, that stuff's not on Tomlin. That team was a 12-4, 11-5 team, in my opinion, if some of the players perform like they're supposed to.
Now, just looking at what some of the people have been saying about it in the chat as well, Jason, I think I'm going to say your last name right, Modify, I think I said that right, says, love Coach T staying in the Bird. Couldn't think of any other coach that could replace him and lead the team like he does. And I do agree with that. I do think that in terms of one of Coach Tomlin's best attributes is his ability to connect with you, his ability to find what motivates you and understand how to utilize that thing to make you an overachiever at times. Like, that's the thing that I love about Coach T, man. Absolutely. All right. All of the above says it's good to have stability at the coaching position and loves the extension as well. Ali Scott says, that's my coach. We talked about player development, but Coach T's development has made him into an overall better coach. I smell Super Bowl rings coming.
I sense it too.
Okay. I do like that. All right, well, here we go. Stephanie says, she has a different tone. She says, Tomlin is overrated. And then we had another, let me see, where are we at? No Limit said he needs to manage the clock better. That was the other one. And then Winner says first round X's are getting annoying though. And I do understand those sentiments. I'm not going to lie. I can see how some of those things can be frustrating, right? Continual first round exits or I mean, just
I guess the Jaguars was the most recent one before the Browns wildcard one. But yeah, dude.
Because then the other 2 years they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, but like I said, with that 9-6-1 team, like how is that on Tomlin? Boz missing all those field goals and some of these awful fumbles and inopportune times, and then also the one where Ben just gets hurt in week 2, and we're dealing with Mason and Duck. Like, that's gonna happen. I mean, just getting to 8-8 and having us almost in the playoff was more of a success than a failure, in my opinion.
I agree.
So yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating. I think we've gotten some unlucky breaks.
And I do think that through it all, as great of a coach as Coach Tomlin is, I still think that he's very underappreciated amongst Steeler Nation. I mean, you think about how often it's brought up that people want him fired or just don't want him to come back. And you're just kind of like, man, I understand from the Steelers standpoint, our standard is what? Super Bowls only, right? You're either winning a Super Bowl or it's a bad year. But from a league standpoint, Coach Tomlin is in the top percentile.
He would just be like Andy Reid. Like if he was let go, he'd find a job immediately.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that is hard to kind of, I guess, communicate to people at times, because you only see this is all we know, this is all we know. But me kind of being able to bounce around and see a couple different organizations and just have a bird's eye view, it's like, dude, the standard here in Pittsburgh is insane. But league-wise, man, Coach Tom, it's not too many guys that Coach Tom is looking up to. I mean, in fact, you can make the case that the one that he's looking up to is Belichick, that's debatable now that we're going to see Belichick without Brady. Because we seen Brady win one as soon as he left.
Yeah,
and we saw what Belichick looked like as soon as he left.
Yeah, Brady has more Super Bowls than any team right now.
And you look at the winning percentages of, okay, when Coach Tomlin hasn't had been, Coach Tomlin is 3 games above 500. I know.
18 and 15.
Yeah, he's 18 and 15, right? Whereas you look at Belichick in games without Brady, he's 3 games below 500.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm actually shocked.
Yes, absolutely. I had to do the research.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, all of last year too. Yeah. But like some of those stresses with Castle,
Castle, they won what? 10, 12,
Jimmy G, they went 4-0 that one year. I think they had Brissett in there for a second.
They won a ton when he's not. But and Belichick is a really, really elite coach. We know this. But just this whole, because that's the one they always bring up. They don't bring up Andy Reid. They don't bring up Pete Carroll. They don't bring.
I'd take Tomlin over all of them. Right. Yeah.
But now it's like it's always Belichick, and I'm just like, well, no. We're gonna see just how good this guy is. You know what I mean? Because even though I know you feel that Ben is better than Brady, I think around the league we feel that Brady is just.
I get why they think.
You know what I mean? So we're just trying to see, is it because he had this player and we had this player, or is it that he's literally that elite from a coaching standpoint and just head and shoulders above Coach Tomlin? I personally don't think he is, but it could be me, just having my Patriot hate feeling in my blood.
Yeah, and I kind of want to stop saying this. I think after I say this, I'm never going to bring it up again, or at least I'm going to try not to. But another unlucky break was seriously, we were going to beat the Patriots in 2017.
Facts.
That would have been the number 1 seed right there. Who knows?
Then instead of us playing Jacksonville, we're either going to play
the Titans.
The Titans,
in the divisional round. Yeah. And then if the Patriots do beat the Jaguars, they're coming home to Hines. Like, as much as we still had our chance in that game, and then also just beat the Jaguars in the playoffs, just do that. I mean, that would have been back-to-back years we beat the Patriots. Yeah. Because I think the year prior to that, Ben was hurt. We had to have Landry Jones in. So a lot of that Patriots stuff gets overblown too.
Oh, I forgot Landry had. Yes.
We were kind of in that game.
We were.
Until the second half.
Yeah, we blew some coverages. That happened.
Yeah. But I'm not bringing up the Jesse James thing anymore. We got to stop with that because it's becoming too much of a thing now.
Yeah, I would say it just keeps reminding me of. Just
it was a regular season game. Like, we got to stop it.
It has taken on just a mind of its own. But I just remember not even being. I thought I was like as mad as I could be that night. But what really pissed me off was the Super Bowl when Zach Ertz had the exact same thing and they ruled it the other way. And we're just like, wow, this is crazy. So yeah, thank you for bringing me down memory lane and making my head hurt. And you always do this to me, man. Thanks a lot. It really means a lot that you do those type of things, man.
Is there anything else on Tom?
That's what I'm trying to see. Let me check. Jesse J's Cody. You absolutely right. He did.
He did. But we got to stop complaining about that. We got to move on.
All right. Yeah, I haven't seen anything else. Just what all the above says. Most teams in the NFL would love to have Tomlin be their head coach. We're just very spoiled. I do share that sentiment, man. I mean, when you think about just around the league, and we're just asking, all right, what team would want Coach Tomlin, or what team feels like, hey, man, we like our coach, we're good? Seattle, New England,
New Orleans.
You can make a case for Buffalo because he's currently doing it.
Well, that's actually probably one of the most interesting things. I was going to ask you about that. Like, McDermott seems like he's on that trajectory where he could be the staple Bills coach. But what's crazy is he hasn't proven anything that Tomlin has.
Right, because Tomlin had actual hardware. But you think about what he was able to do with the Bills in the playoffs this past season. Like, they did their thing. they advanced through. They made noise, as we like to put it, right?
No, what I mean, it goes back to the whole spoiled comment.
Yeah.
Like, Tomlin's already done all this shit that
Yeah.
a lot of teams are looking for in their
And trying
next
to-
head
yeah,
coach.
absolutely,
Like,
man.
Bills are probably so excited about
Yeah.
McDermott, but Tomlin already has a Super Bowl appearance. He
Yeah.
has the Super Bowl ring,
Yeah.
and we're in the mix just as much as the Bills right now.
And count how many AFC Championship game appearances he's had as well. Like, he's won. He's done a ton, and like we said, he's still only 49 years old. So I'm trying, like, I feel like it's a handful of teams that probably would like their guy a little bit better than Coach T. But other than that, it'd be a plethora of teams out there that would want his services. That's the part that we're getting at. But we are very spoiled here, and it's a good thing that we're spoiled. That just means that we haven't had to endure any of the hardships that a lot of these other teams have. Hopefully, we never have to. Hopefully, that's the steal away, and that will be the standard, quote unquote, continuing to be the standard. So,
Yeah,
I like that.
So I got a couple maybe just hot topics surrounding Tomlin.
Go for it, man. Let's do it.
Like quick questions.
Yeah, while we're still on the Tomlin topic, yeah.
I saw this on PTI. Over under Tomlin, 20 years as a Steeler head coach. So the end of this contract would be 18.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Daggone. Oh.
And they were comparing all the other coaches that have lasted 20 years in the league. They're all Hall of Famers.
Right. That's dicey, though, because I need to see if Ben is there the whole time. What does that look like? If it's a transition in there, what does that look like? How smooth is the transition? Do we have one of those, all right, Ben is the quarterback next year, but we draft our guy in the first round, and he sits, and now we get the smooth, Favre to A-Rod transition? If it's that, I like it a lot. I think he gets to 20. I think he'll get over 20. If it's not that...
Do you think it's his choice or the Steelers' choice, though?
I do feel like it's going to be his choice.
Okay.
I just think because of the success that he's had throughout his career, I think because he currently still has the highest winning percentage of any of the coaches in Steeler history, including Chuck Noll, including Cowher. I mean, you think about those guys; those are Hall of Famers, those are legends. But his winning percentage is higher than those guys. So I think of that, and I just feel like the team, they love that narrative of we've only had 3 head coaches, since the 68, 69, I think it was. And then they're able to be like, well, yeah, we're going to have 3 Hall of Fame coaches, and we never had to fire any of them either. Like, that is a vibe that they kind of like to go with. They do.
They like that, and they like not firing coaches.
Yeah, we don't fire coaches. We're just not going to we're not going to renew his contract. We didn't fire you, though. And they love siblings. You got a brother? If you got a brother anywhere in the NFL, Pittsburgh's where you want to play, because they're going to get your brother. I promise you, they're going to get him. All right? We know they like these type of things. This is what they do. This is what they do. So I just think that it would have to be Tomlin saying, hey, I'm ready to go. It's mutual, or they would just let the contract just expire and just went in, renew it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But so, I think he's going to get the same type of exit that Ben is getting right now, where it's like, all right, we know when Ben joked, or we don't know if he was joking or serious, when he flirted with the word retirement, and then they drafted Mason. From there, when Ben showed that displeasure, it was very clear that Ben could do, he had a longer leash from then on. And then even coming back this year, right? All right, we're going to make sure we get a deal done for you to make it work. And then if he wants to come back next year, it'll probably be a similar conversation where they get the deal done for him. I just think Coach Tomlin is going to have that same luxury of whenever it is time, if he wanted to stay an extra year or two.
Sure, to get to that 20.
Right, I think he's going to have that ability.
Either way, he'll still be in his so-called prime age-wise for
Absolutely.
coaching.
Absolutely.
Because how old's Belichick? He's almost 70, right?
Dude, like, legit, Coach Tomlin could coach another 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, legit another 15 years.
When did Cowher hang it? He probably hung it up around the same time Tomlin is right now. But he just stuck with the broadcast. No one expected him to.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was going to come back at some point after maybe 4 or 5 years.
I never took him as a commentary type guy or an analyst type guy. But he's great in that role. I mean, we obviously had a chance to talk to him about it as a guest on the show. But it's just like, man, I had no clue. But Coach Tomlin would kill that role as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Coach Tomlin would be great, man. You see Rex Ryan, they be over here. Hey, Rex, you're going to need to slide over, big fella. Coach T, that's your seat right there.
Actually, that would just be a good booth right there. Tomlin and Rex Ryan.
Come on, man. That would be out of
control. Throw McAfee in there somehow.
Oh, it'd be out of control, man. It would be out of control.
One more. I got one more. Does Tomlin win a Super Bowl with the Steelers? Win another one?
Oh, that's a good question. Man, hold on. Before I start saying it, I'm going to ask them too. Right here in the chat. Actually, I don't have to say it in the chat. I just asked right here in the live. Hey, Do y'all think Coach Tomlin is going to win another Super Bowl with the Steelers? That's what you said, right?
Sure.
Do you think that Coach Tomlin will win another Super Bowl with the Steelers? Let me know in the comment section, man, and we'll chat about it and discuss it as well. But for me, do I think he'll win another Super Bowl? No, not with the Steelers. But I have a caveat. I don't think he'll win with the Steelers with Ben as the quarterback right now. I just don't think that the dynamic is going to work the right way and they're going to have the right pieces in place, mainly because of just how the money is going to be set up right now, right? I just don't think that happens. And the further we go into this, the older Ben gets, the less his performance becomes. So now you're going to just have to roll the dice on what that next guy looks like. I don't know. Like, if you roll the dice as Andrew Luck, well, then sure, I think Coach Tomlin can win him another one with the Steelers. But if it's anybody that's less than Ben, then no, I don't see it happening. And I just personally don't think it's going to happen right now for him.
Well, you know what I'm going to say.
I know you're going to say he can win multiple ones, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it's a big YES. I know Ben's getting up there in age, but he's going to be aging like fine wine. A second resurgence here. Not one, not two. Not three. That's
that big Deke energy.
Not four.
Man, your back don't hurt with all that. How you walk around like this, man? No wonder you slouch all the time, man. Gee, we're all baby weights on you, man. I like it.
So what did I finish? I said not four. So five. We'll say
five?
Yeah.
Just a whole nother 5-piece. I like it. All right. Okay.
Yeah, probably 3 or 4 with Ben, and then maybe he'll get one with a rookie at some point, like in his last season.
Listen, he go out there and get 5, man. I'm gonna play the lotto. I don't know. I'm gonna do something just reckless. I feel like I can't lose if that happens. All right. That's a lot. That's a lot. 5. Interesting. Let's see what the comments say. That's what we're gonna go to right now. All right. All right. So. Man, it's a lot of... All right, here we go. Yes, he's getting one more with us. I see a lot of yeses. He better if he's going to be here 5 more years. Not with Ben as QB. Yes, not with Ben, though. If it doesn't happen next year, then no. He has to if he wants to hit 20 years.
We're going to have more cap space after this year, though. I don't know why. Why is it this year that it's the deadline?
I think because we're just the trend for 7 right now. I think they're looking at him and saying, all right, remember going into this past season, right? When the season ended, a lot of people were already looking at him as being done, being like, hey, he's shot, it's over. Then the other faction was, well, now he's going to have more time to rest, another year away from the surgery. He's ready to go. He's going to be good. And that whole narrative.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. I think he's going to ball out.
Right. But either way, it's still a lot of uncertainty around it. I think that's kind of, the thing.
They're saying like the following year. If say he does ball out, like him being able to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, so I think that's the whole purpose of it.
That's why people say that at least
this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because money-wise, the cap goes up, so you can bring in more pieces.
That's what I mean.
But at the same time, we also know T.J. Watt's got to get paid. Minka Fitzpatrick's going to have to get paid. Terrell Edmonds is coming up eventually. Regardless of what you want to do, if you want to pay him or replace him, you're still going to have to spend money on that. And then so forth and so forth. Devin Bush falls in that mix as well. So I think that's the other thing of why we're kind of looking like, the further this thing goes, just the model. You think what teams have everybody paid with a quarterback not on their rookie contract? Typically, it's either your quarterback's on the rookie contract and you have everybody around them paid and they can be stars, or you got to go the route of, all right, the quarterback is paid and everybody else, we're kind of, we got a stud here, bargain piece here, stud here, bargain piece here.
The Bucks are the only one though. The Saints.
That's because they all took. But no, the Bucks. Them guys were taking. They were playing for less. Even when they came back on their contract extensions and things like that, they still were playing at prorated rates compared to like their league standard.
But isn't Evans and Godwin's their contracts are?
Godwin just is on a franchise tag right now. $14 million. So he wasn't. But last year he wasn't playing on that. Last year he was playing on the last year of a rookie deal.
But they brought everyone back though.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Even with the guys coming back, they all could have got way more money going elsewhere. Levante David took less. Was it Leonard Fournette took less? We can go down the list of how many of those guys.
Fournette was the only one that came to mind, but that's just running back.
A lot of them guys were taking just less money so they could come back, and that's why they were able to bring back all 22 starters. It's like, this is crazy.
I think it could happen. Like, depending on Ben's contract, if it's like $20 million, I think we could bring most of those guys back. Just with how everything's organized, because the offense is going to be a little younger.
They would have to want to come back for less money. That's all I'm saying. The Bucks, it's a lot. You're a lot more willing to come back for less when you're coming right off of a Super Bowl. If they hadn't won a Super Bowl or if they hadn't played in the Super Bowl, I guarantee you that would be a different tone. Them dudes want to be over here like, oh yeah, I'm willing to take less to come back. Yeah, let's do it again. Like, nah, the guys gonna want to get paid. But when you win that ring, now it's like, well, let's try to run it back and get another one. So,
like you said though, with that cap space bumping up though, it might not be as much of an issue.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
100%.